Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana. I am a business coach and a mentor, and I love to inspire you to go for all the things you want to do in your life. Oh, hello, if you are new here. Hey, if you are back from last time, hopefully you will subscribe to this channel, especially if you are interested in all things just entrepreneurship, womanhood, really growing in who you are, just understanding yourself and giving yourself the space and the grace. Like, that's what we're all about over here on this channel. Today, we are going to be doing my quarterly reset, and I absolutely have loved doing this. I'm very reflective around this time. I love to just look back and see how things have gone, see how I've progressed, see where things could be a little bit better. And so I've decided to really start to share this process with you more. And for this particular reset, I'm going to actually break it up into some different areas. So if you want to kind of like jump around, you can. But this first one is really just going to be me overall reflecting on the last quarter. I feel like before you can really know what you want to do next, you really have to know where you came from. You have to know what worked, what didn't work, in order to be able to really come up with a plan of action for the months ahead. And then I'm going to have a little section for my personal plans for the quarter, a section for business plans for the quarter. I'm actually going to be using my quarterly wall planner for my business, so I'll be showing you all how I use that. This is definitely going to be a good video. Definitely get your journal, get your planner out so that we can plan together. And happy Q3 of 2023. We are doing this thing. Okay, so first things first, I have my journal here, and I love to just reflect on how things have gone. And then I've also added in something new. This is actually something that I did a few times. Not even necessarily for the quarter, but just randomly I would do it just to sit down and kind of reset myself, and that is using my INSPIRE acronym. So I'm going to share that with you all in two different ways. I'm going to share it as a reflective way to use it, and then also how you can use it as a way to set yourself up for the next quarter. But before we get into that, I want to just share, first of all, just some lessons that I've learned from Q2, and these are definitely recurring life lessons, so these are not anything new at all. The first one is my worth isn't my work. That is a constant lesson that I'm trying to remind myself of, because I get very, very tied to just the outcome of things, especially when it comes to my business, especially when it comes to like how launches do or don't do, you know, or just different things in life. You know, I tie it to some kind of result of some sort. And sometimes it's just okay for me to just be grateful for what I've done and to celebrate myself for that. I tend to be very negative a lot of times, and so just really remembering that my worth has nothing to do with the outcome, essentially, is what I'm meaning by my worth isn't my work. Another one is I am enough and supported, and I think that this definitely is just good. I actually recently finished this devotional called Greatly Loved on the Bible app, and it was just such a good reminder to me of just like who God says I am. Just having a chance to kind of reconnect back and do that devotional, it was just really helpful for me. And so just remembering that like I am enough and I'm supported, you know, even if not anyone else supported anything I did, I know that God is here, and it's just something that I need to constantly remind myself, because I tend to just dwell on things that a lot of times are out of my control, you know, so just really remembering that. And then the last one is that things always work out, and this was definitely a big one for myself, because at the beginning of the quarter was when I kind of found out that we were going to be moving, but we were waiting on a lot of the really specific details we needed in order to really do anything. Like, we knew we were moving, but we had no idea when my husband's start date was. We had no idea what area we were going to move to. Like, it was so many things that we kept waiting on, and then we would find out one thing, we're like, well, we can't really do this until we find out this. And so that was really like what the whole first part of the quarter was. It was just a lot of things that I had no idea how it was going to turn out. And so it's just funny, because when I was editing my moving diaries, I was laughing because I had said in there, I was like, my future version of me is going to be laughing at this editing it, looking at the me in the video recording like, girl, it's going to work out. And that's literally what happened. Everything worked out just like it was supposed to. There was nothing, like all the worst case scenario stuff that I thought, like none of those things happened or even came close to happening. But that's what we do a lot of times, right? And so it was just a good reminder, just another example of God showing up, me just moving out of the way to just let things happen, because there was so much I just didn't know, I couldn't control, from like couldn't even really look at like a house to choose because we didn't know what city we were living in. It was just like so many different things. And then finally one little piece would come and we slowly started to put the puzzle together. And I think that that's just such a true testament to life in general. You know, it's always going to be the next thing of like, okay, well, how is this going to go? And so I just really appreciated these lessons from this quarter. And then the win that I have a couple. So definitely just to kind of piggyback off of the moving across the country with my family is a win in my book. It was a lot of details. It was a lot of things to figure out and coordinate. And a lot of that fell on my shoulders. And so I just got to give myself a win for that because it was a lot to just figure out emotionally, and just trying to make sure that everything will fall into place. It was just so many things on top of my regular everyday things going on. And so that's a win to me. And then the other thing, let's see, I have launching my membership would definitely be an amazing win because it was something that I have been putting off for a bit, which is definitely a theme over here on this channel, you know, like putting things off, whether it's due to perfectionism, not feeling enough, and all of these things. And then eventually I end up doing it because I always want to make sure that I am responding to the call that God is giving me. And the membership was something that I started really thinking about a lot last year, specifically towards the end of the year, even kind of like around the time when I was deciding to close my stationery business. Like I had it in the back of my head that the Inspire Blueprint was going to be something bigger, and I had always wanted to do a membership even prior to that. And so I'm just really excited for that win. So that's definitely 2 wins. Then I have the part in here also about my struggles and a good memory from the quarter. So it's kind of the same, the struggle and the memory. The struggles has been my just emotional response to moving and just relocating and everything. If you didn't see my moving diaries, I'll be sure to link them down below. But it was such an emotional move. Like for all of the years to have happened of me being in New Mexico and being like, oh my gosh, when are we moving? Like, you know, I don't necessarily want to be here, but just trying to still embrace it as much as I could. And then when it was finally happening, I felt like a lot of it was like I was watching someone else's life. And I was actually like, oh, this is really happening. And so then to move away, you know, leave our house, like that whole thing was emotional. It still kind of makes me want to get choked up. It's just crazy how when we say it's something that we want, but then when we finally have it, sometimes the response that we think we're going to give or like the way we're going to feel is not necessarily what it is. And I just thought I would be feeling like pure excitement, but it's actually like mourning a part of my life, you know, and accepting that, you know, that part has closed, that chapter has ended, and now there's this new beginning. And now it's again like, okay, I have no idea what this next phase holds. But then at the same token, my memory for the quarter is moving too, because it's like my favorite memory is us counting down the days. Emery absolutely loved this little like paper chain I made. We were counting down the days until we moved to South Carolina. And then when we got here, my grandparents were here to greet us and help us get settled. And then the first night we didn't have electricity because there was like a miscommunication with the electric company and the company of the house, like the rental company and all of these different things. And I'm just like, you know, like, and I was upset. Don't get me wrong, I was upset. But, you know, like looking back, I'm like, that was such a fun memory. Like we all just basically camped out in the living room together. We had lanterns. And then to just be able to see my grandmother, I've already seen her like 3 times just in the last month, which is unheard of. Typically, I would see her like once a year, you know. So it's just that in itself, just the move and the positive things that have come along with it. I mean, there's a... As far as the just last part of this, I wanted to reflect on my INSPIRE acronym. So here's my INSPIRE acronym. I'll put it right here on the screen. So we have intention, nourish, success, peace, increase, real, and enjoy. If you've seen any of my stuff before, you already know this acronym literally is like the epitome of what the Inspire Blueprint is all about how we can truly get to build the lives that we desire. And this is just some of the ways we can do it. And so to reflect on it, I'll say for intention, definitely I was very intentional about my time with Emery this quarter, for sure. And then also even more so just in this last like month, I would also say just getting intentional with my time and making sure that I have time to do the things that I need to do, to get work done and stuff, because our life where we were, it looks very different than our life here. I have a lot more time with Emery than I was having just because she was like going to preschool a couple times a week. And so because of those changes, I had to really just first, like kind of just take some time to be like, okay, this is very new. And then deciding that like, no, like I need to figure this out. Like there's no excuse to why I can't still get things done. There's no reason why I can't make time. And just stepping up and speaking up for myself. Because sometimes that can be really hard to do as a mom, when you just want to be everything for everyone. But we have to remember that we have to be something for ourselves too. And so that was how I was intentional. Nourish, definitely I would say getting Pilates started was probably the best thing I could have done. I've been doing it for about a month now. It feels good to be doing something for myself that's not tied to anything monetary. Like I love my business. It's definitely a passion of mine, but to just have something that's like for me, and it's not just tied to like having to become content. It's not tied to anything other than just like, this is good for my soul. This is good for me. Like I love moving my body and doing things. And I had just been making the excuses of like, oh, I don't have the time. Oh, Emery's going to interrupt. All these things. It's like, girl, there's so many options out here. So definitely that. Success, I would say for sure, kind of to say again, launching the membership. And then also to just like pat myself on the back because I have been doing school with Emery at home pretty much since she was born, y'all. Honestly, we've been working together. But just this last month to just see how much of a sponge she is. She soaked up so many things. She knows so many things. And I'm just so proud of her. And I do have to give myself some credit. Like I work really hard with her. I'm really intentional about the things that we do. And to just make sure she is having every opportunity to learn. And to just see that reflected back to me has been so cool. And even just different things that she's done just in this last quarter have really shown me like, wow, like, it's a success because like even though some days I feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a horrible mom, like we all go through that. I feel like she mirrors back to me. She shows me things and I'm like, no, I'm doing okay, Peace is definitely reading and walks. I started back reading. I had stopped pretty much I think I read heavily in January and then I got stuck on one book in February and then just literally was stuck on that book until about May, and then I just started reading again in May. So yeah, I had like kind of just a reading freeze. I don't know what was going on, but I'm back in action. I actually read a couple books that I can actually share with you guys. This is one that's sitting right here though. This book was so good. I definitely recommend it, called In 5 Years. It's by Rebecca Searle. This was such a good book. Definitely had me crying at the end, but it was really good. And then also another book I just finished. It's called By the Book. I don't have it with me now because I sent it back to the library, but that one was good. And I'm currently reading The Lazy Genius Way right now. And when I tell you the way that it's getting my life already, and I only am on the first principle, okay? So I cannot wait to implement the things of that. That's definitely probably something that will be a goal as well. Increase, I definitely will say that I truly gave that season of my life last quarter to God. And I think because of that, he just showed me again, it gave me the ability to just see that like, once again, he showed up, he did everything that needed to be done without me having to just take control. And so that would be the increase. And then real is just sharing my truth of moving. Honestly, I did not think anybody was going to care about this moving content. I almost didn't even post it, to be honest. And then it happened, right? It happened and people were interested in it. And I'm really grateful for all the support and the love of those moving vlogs. And it just showed that sometimes like I'm in my head about the things that I want to talk about and post. I'm like, all people care about is business stuff. But I'm learning that that's not actually true. And so I think just being real about what I want to talk about and what's relevant to me is definitely just good. And then enjoy was just sitting and being the whole month of May. That's pretty much what I did. Yes, I unpacked a ton of boxes, but outside of that, I feel like I just really sat with myself for the month of May. Don't really know how I was feeling necessarily. I was kind of up and down from day to day of like being here and just all of the emotions tied to that. But at the same time, it was just a season of just a month of me just being. I don't really get to do that very often. And so because of that, I was just able to just enjoy life and not really feeling like I was tied to anything specifically that I had to get done in terms of just like these goals and things that I have. Like I really gave myself the space for May to just be a month of just whatever it needed to be. In turn, I really enjoyed that. So that is my Inspire acronym reflection. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Q3, basically. So for Q3, I have a couple things in the power sheets that I wanted to just mention. Of course, that evaluation is one. I'm going to be refreshing the goals that I have for the new quarter ahead. And then I also did this keep moving forward section in here. So I went through and filled this in, but I wanted to just share a couple things because they have this section over here. It says like, what am I saying no to in the season? What am I saying yes to? And so just wanted to read a few of them for Q3, what I'm hoping to kind of implement, because I feel like these things build on each other. It's not like, oh, I just do it for 90 days and then I'm done. Like, no, we want to keep going. So I really want to stop over explaining myself and just really understand that like there's value in my no, or there's value in my yes, and just value in the decisions I make. And I don't have to have a lot of like extra things I need to say. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't need to try to convince anyone of anything, you know? And I think that's something that with age I'm learning. So just really working on me feeling like I have to over explain or like fold into myself because of what people may think about certain things. So I'm really trying to work on that. And then also another one thing that I'm continuing to say no to is just constant social media usage. This past month, I really tapered off of a lot of social media use, even like YouTube, which I love YouTube, y'all. But I'm just learning to like just be in the now and just enjoy my days and enjoy my work and what I'm doing. And as much as I love to consume, like I love to consume content, I'm really trying to limit it because I just feel like right now, and maybe things will change later, but right now in this season, my heart is just really sensitive. And I feel like I'm just easy to compare. I'm easy to feel a certain way. And so because I'm noticing that about myself, I really have tapered off of a lot of the social media usage. Even like when I get on Instagram now, it almost feels foreign because I don't get on there as much as I used to. I'm going to continue to just say no to that consistent social media usage for now because it's just been putting me in a really good spot. And then the things I'm saying yes to, I'm just going to pick a few. So yes to the Lazy Genius Way. I mentioned that I am reading that book right now and it is so good already. So I'm definitely going to be implementing some Lazy Genius principles starting in the new quarter. I'm planning to finish it up before June is over actually so that I can really hit the ground running with it. And then I'm also saying yes to just like meeting new people and networking more. I feel like I'm in an area where there's a ton of entrepreneurs out here. So I really want to network. I want to meet people. I want to just get out there and just be more outgoing. I'm such an introverted person, and not that I'm trying to like be someone different, but I just feel like that the only way that you're able to really grow as a person is to get uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable for me to meet people, you know, like especially like I'm very intentional about like taking Emery out so she can meet other kids and all those things. And through me doing that, even though I didn't want to, you know, I'm like shy and I'm nervous, she has made a friend and we've met up with the family a couple of times and it's just been really cool. So it's like just continuing to put myself out there more and network and just meet people, I think is going to make this transition in my life so much better, to just really start to build a village and get to know people around here. I think is what I'm really craving. So that's some of the things off of that page. So I also wanted to just mention some things I'm looking forward to. So Emery's 5th birthday is coming up in Q3. I'm thinking about doing more traveling. I have some just different trip ideas in mind, so that's going to be fun. Definitely more family time as well. So all things I'm looking forward to. And then also how I want the quarter to feel, because this is summer. I just wanted to feel fun. I wanted to feel relaxed. I wanted to just feel like, man, like I am just living my life. I'm loving it. I don't want it to feel tense at all. I just want it to feel very just like an ocean, like literally like just looking out at the ocean. I just want it to feel peaceful and to just flow. Like seriously, that is what my hope is for just the feeling of Q3, the feeling of summer. That is truly just what I want, Lord. That's what I want. Okay, so that's a little bit of that. So now we're going to get into my actual planning for my goals